The age-old question is, what will it take to rebuild the black community? Welcome back to the Lancescurv Show. You know, being born and raised in this skin that I'm in, and the reactions to it, well, it doesn't bother me. I love who I am. But we can do a lot better. And all my life, I've had to bear the weight of how we are viewed, because it doesn't really matter who you are as an individual in this world. You're judged by the color of your skin, and that's what it is all about. There are many people who say they don't see color. And this is what they say. But when things get tough, it always comes out. Am I holding on to this? No. I'm just reflecting what I see. And I've come to the conclusion long ago that why should we continue to join on to something that doesn't want us? Why do we continue to try to join on to something that rejects us? If you're having a heart transplant and you put a heart in someone's chest and that body rejects it, there's nothing you can do, right? So my thing is, why don't we build our own? See, to build our own is going to require us to know how to build. It's going to require us to know the right materials, the best materials, to gather the best materials to build. As far as the people are concerned, the intent, the spirit, the mentality, everything. But after a while, even with us, there's so many things that have been done to us, and there's so many things that we harbor deep within that's not kosher. And we never really end up building anything of note. And yes, some of us can rise to the occasion, but collectively, the majority of us, we're not there yet. Will we ever get there? It's a possibility. But we drive everybody else's society and world. We're there. Our excellence and our expertise is used for everybody else's benefit. But for us, it's almost like we're not even allowed to use our talents and abilities for our own selves and advancement. And I hope to see it one day where that curse is broken. But right now, at this particular chronological junction point, I don't know. I've waited all my life to see us get to a certain point as a people, as anyone else would want their people to get and reach that pinnacle. But it just doesn't seem like we're ever going to get there. But that doesn't mean you give up hope. You keep on swinging, you keep on pushing, because you got to realize that when you have life, you're here for a reason, right? And until you draw that last breath, you should know your purpose and work intensely toward manifesting that purpose. But I wrote down some notes here, and this is being broadcast from Ghana, West Africa. So even up here in the mountains where it's cool, it can sometimes get hot. But I'm glad to be here with you. We've been having some nice exchanges on our shows, and I welcome you all to subscribe and join on to us in our community, Lancescurvx.com. There you sign up with your email so that no one can stop you from receiving the new content. You can't trust some of these social media platforms, if you know what I mean. Well, the first point that I want to bring up, I have right here in front of me. Reclaim our mental sovereignty. Before we can build anything tangible, schools, businesses, communities, we must first rebuild our minds. We are still walking around with the programming of dependency. Too many of us subconsciously believe that our progress must be approved by someone else. The first step toward true liberation is to unlearn that conditioning. We must remove the mental virus that says we need permission to rise. Once we free the mind, the body, the community, and the culture will follow. The battlefield is psychological, and we either win there or lose everywhere. Isn't it something? We've got to unlearn all of this conditioning. And so many of us are afraid to do so because we are afraid, or we fear that we can't make it without that conditioning, a conditioning that has kept us in a sorry state of affairs, and a conditioning that keeps us from rising. It's like faulty programming. It's not made for us. It's made to keep somebody else in the driver's seat. It's made to keep somebody else empowered off of our strength and our talents and abilities. And if you ask me, that's wrong. When are we going to ever learn? This is 2025 at the time of this broadcast. When are we going to ever learn? So many of us don't even understand that if we help each other to rise and clear our minds and help ourselves to have a mental renewal, that we're all better off. Because most of us can talk this talk. Most of us know it. But do we understand it? Do we put it into practice and make it happen? Evidently not. We would be more empowered if we did. Establish a global black code of conduct. Every successful group on this planet has a code, a silent understanding of how they treat each other and protect their collective interests. We too need a code that says we do not undercut each other, we don't sell each other out, and we don't exploit our own people for personal gain. It means we hold each other accountable. You break the code, you lose access to the collective benefits. Simple as that. This is how loyalty is enforced and nations are protected. Unity is not emotional, it's structural, and it's enforced by rules. So you don't have to sit around, if you do it this way, and hope your fellow man or woman does the right thing. They will lose access. They'll be put out. Because you can't have that type of negative virus amongst you. And we're going to talk more on that later. Rebuild the black family structure. Now, you know I always talk about this. That's the foundation on top of community. Our foundation has been fractured. The system did not destroy us by bombs. It destroyed us by breaking the bond between black men and women, and they still do this to this day. Without that connection, there's no family. And without family, there's no nation. We must restore love, respect, and cooperation between our men and women. Our homes should be training grounds for greatness, where our children are taught their value, their history, and their mission. The black family is the first government, the first school, and the first church. When that structure is repaired, the entire race heals. It's the first training ground. It undergirds everything. So this is why the black family has always been under attack from the time we came to these shores. And if you want to argue that you didn't come from somewhere else, that's fine too. But you know what? You're getting the same treatment that those who came to the shores of North America for those who did. And if you feel in your lineage that you didn't, you are still getting that negative racist treatment because the enemy does not care. So please don't bring the argument here because it makes no sense. We're all catching hell in North America and in many places in the world. So to want to fight on a sinking ship is asinine. And you follow behind your agents, your leaders who are making money off of you and paid well by the U.S. government and other factions to keep us living under the rule of Memorandum 46. And I will post that below in the description area. You read it and educate yourself. That's why they have that document banned on the internet, but it's on my site. So many things. The black family, regardless of who you are, is under attack. Regardless as to where you came from. The man, the black man, is seasoned now against the black woman, and the black woman is seasoned against the black man. And we go on the internet and let these things influence us, and we emulate that when we go out in the outside world. We don't see home when we see each other. I remember one time I went on a class trip, and it's a festive time when you get to go to an amusement park or go to some type of nature walk or whatever it may be. But this was a trip to the amusement park. And for the most part, most of the day I had the money that my parents gave me. But I lost it, the rest of it. It was getting toward the end of the trip, but I was upset because I didn't have any more money to do the things I wanted to do. Well, there are a couple of the parents, mostly mothers, who came along to volunteer their time to keep everything organized. And there was one that lived near me. She saw I was upset. She saw I wasn't buying things. Not that that's all we did. And so she said, "Lance, are you okay?" And I was very, very young. I almost started crying. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I lost my money." She said, "But you had it earlier, right?" I said, "Yes, but I must have misplaced it." She says, "Listen, don't worry about anything. I have money. You don't have to worry about paying it back. Here it is for you." And she gave me $25. It was toward the end of the time out there. I had enough to buy whatever I wanted to buy because, you know, we went to the amusement park, and once you paid the fee to enter, you didn't have to pay anything more except for food or refreshments. Well, that black mother, that black woman, that beautiful black mother became home for me. That sense of home. What do we see when we see our sisters now? What do we see as black men when we see the black woman, no matter what age she is? When she's younger, do we see a plaything? Somebody that we can use as a glorified friction provider? Or somebody to use for money or curse and look down on? Looking at them as though they're inferior because they have nothing to offer? That's your sister, that's your mother, that's your aunt, that's your grandmother. That's you. That's how you got here. And that's the respect that you give your sister. We got to do a lot of rewiring. Rebuild the black family structure. Yes, we may not have the same last name. We may not know how closely connected we are, but we are connected. So we have to see each other all as family. Instead of worrying about what tribe you came from, what part of the world you came from. No, we're all related. We all get the same treatment. We all look the same. We'll flip it around and let's all be family and look out for each other and be that sense of home to each other. We've lost that. It's still there in pockets, but we pretty much have lost that. Economic unity and circulation of the black dollar. Talk is cheap. Economics is power. We cannot shout about independence while spending 98% of our money outside of our community. Every other group builds wealth because they circulate their dollar before it leaves their community. We must adopt that discipline. Buy black, invest black, create cooperative businesses, support local entrepreneurs. It's not about hating others, it's about loving ourselves enough to fund our own survival. Economic independence is the difference between being tolerated and being respected. But I also want to say that, yes, we should buy black and we should invest in black. But those who we're buying from that are black, are they reinvesting in the community? Or are they taking our money, giving you the fist, black power, brother, and going to somebody else's neighborhood to hide away from you, right? You got many people, pastors, who don't live in the neighborhoods and communities that they serve. But they're down with the secret handshakes, and they don't give a damn about you, but they'll talk a certain way to extract the funds from you, but they're two-faced and hypocritical, and nobody wants to say anything about it. But that's how it goes down with many of these types of individuals. They have black skin, but the mask that they wear is a black mask, but their heart is somewhere else because they don't really care about you and your empowerment and your growth. They want to suck from you like other people suck from you, and the other people will use them to get to you. And why did I bring up pastors? Because even though we know Dr. Umar Johnson, you know, he's been exposed, he's said a lot of truthful things. And them pastors get that Jesus money and bring it back to the white banks. And this is like I say all the time when I used to drive the bus in Orlando, Florida. Sometimes early on a Sunday morning, before church is in session. You see the church parking lot, and you get to the bus stop that's near there, and you look and you see the crack vials and the condoms from the negotiations that were going on the night before. Condoms, the crackheads, the tricks, the men who paid them for sex, and the condoms. Well, thank God they had a condom. But then Sunday morning, stepping over those condoms and crack vials, right, are the holy people who oftentimes don't give a damn about the community. It's a status day club show like the nightclub, right? And that's all it is. So when you invest black, just don't invest in black skin. Make sure they have a black mind and a black heart. One who loves their people, okay? Land ownership equals true freedom. You can't call yourself free when you own nothing beneath your feet. Land means power. Power to grow food, build homes, start industries, and control your destiny. Whether it's farmland in the South, property in Ghana, or real estate in your city, land is the foundation of nationhood. Renters can't rule. When you control the soil, we control the soul of our people. That's why land ownership must become our new obsession. Not just having the brand new car, not just having the newest and latest hairstyle and clothing and going all around and you're not doing anything. You're just spending money. You come home to an apartment that's rented. Okay, at first, to get on your feet or you're out into the world, yeah. I'm not saying there's something wrong with you if you're renting, but do you want to always rent? Do you have true power? You don't. They can always hike the rent up on you. They can always get you to leave. And you're not in control. The thing is, in this life, we have to make sure to be in control. And we have to start with our personal lives. Before we can become a revolutionary, we need to be revolutionary in our own personal lives. We need to not stop getting ourselves in debt. We need to look for ownership and live below your means and stop trying to impress people who don't care about you and secretly or outwardly hate on you for any progress that you made. But usually it's not Righteous progress is just some materialistic something that you're parading around in, and we hate on each other. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm so nondescript when I'm outside in the street. T-shirts and shorts and Crocs, and I'm not gonna wear jewelry. Not even the cheap stuff no more. Accept me for who I am. Control of our food supply. Ever think about that? Dependency on others for food is dangerous. That's not convenience, that's control. We must grow our own food, support black farmers, and teach urban agriculture to our youth. Community gardens, cooperative farming, and food distribution networks must be part of our independence plan. When you control your food, you control your health, your economy, and your freedom. No revolution can succeed if the enemy can starve you. Think about that. Now, I know in the inner cities, concrete jungles is kind of hard, but urban agriculture, that's the way to go. At least have knowledge of how to grow your food. And we still have rooftops, we have fire escapes, we have parks, we have different places that we can grow things or learn to grow stuff, and put that in your child's mind. Because if these supermarkets that we go to, right, we're not growing anything, but if those supermarkets lock down and there's nothing in them, and you're in a big city, what you gonna do? Within a day or two, 3 days tops, your next door neighbor becomes your enemy. He'll want to come in and kick your door in to get some food to feed his family. You can put thousands of dollars on the table and say, listen, just leave me alone, take this money. But how is money going to curb and stop hunger when there's no food? So think about your priorities. We go out to these jobs to make money. But at the end of the day, if there's no food, what good is your money? So if you live in the proper climate, which we all should aim to live in a place where we can grow food year round, that's why the move was made here at 0 latitude and 0 longitude, and start from where you are. You don't have to wait to have a whole farm. That will come. But at least have the knowledge to feed yourself, because you disarm that enemy's power over you. And I don't know what's going to happen, because the food stamps may still be cut by November 1st. That's going to come in one day. Let's see. Maybe it will end and the government shutdown will end, but a lot of folks now are panicking because food stamps may be cut. And really and truly, a lot of those people, since we're not talking about that right now, but that old hustle in the old neighborhoods, taking your food stamps and selling them for less than the cost, so you can get the cash to get your hair done, you can get the cash to buy whatever you want to buy and go on shopping sprees. You're not thinking about feeding your family. Not all, but too many. Is that what they're crying about? That hustle is gone? Plus something that was made just to support you for a short time until you get on your feet, not for generations and generations to live by. Something to think about. Education that teaches power, not just job skills. The public school system was designed to produce workers, not thinkers. It was never built to empower us. We need our own independent educational institutions, in person and online, that teach African history, business development, financial literacy, coding, critical thinking, and global politics. We need to raise nation builders, not job seekers. Knowledge that doesn't translate into power is just trivial. The next generation must learn how to create, manage, and defend power. That's so right. And I'm the product of the public school system in New York City. And whenever you would go a different direction in your thinking and think outside the box and question the system, even at the elementary school level, a middle school level, a high school level, those sentinels who watch over you called teachers, they make sure to try to push you in line and discourage your desires. When you see beyond just being a job seeker and accepting their narrow-minded so-called education as gospel, when you see beyond that, it's their job to rob your child of greatness by thinking outside the box. And I've said this before. The most powerful black revolutionaries are creative people. They have a creative ability about them. It's not just art. It could be music. It could be painting. It could be something unique, but creative. So your enemy, who usually controls the public school system, they get a lot of aid from America, the 1948s and small hats. I remember them. And they never really encouraged you to be an independent thinker. You had to be brought down to earth and brought back in line. And again, it's their job to alert their higher ups as to who is the most creative and thinking outside the system. Because when you see that most revolutionaries are creative people who think outside the box, they want to quell that. This is why in the public school system now, they'll remove music and art. Not just because we don't have enough funding for music and art. What does it take? But they don't want to develop a mind that thinks outside an oppressive box and therefore can be a future revolutionary. So if we can kill this early on and relegate you just to being a job seeker and happy to be on a 9-to-5 and just over broke, J-O-B, and not think out the box and not question anything and be a good little Negro, you're all right. I've never been that person. Even when I've been on jobs, I'm like, okay, I'm here for a little while, but we know this is not me. I got to be free of this plantation. And you have to do what you have to do, whether you are working on a job or renting an apartment for the time, but as long as in your mind. You know, because we're all like slaves in this system. And the slaves back in the day that had the slave revolts, and even though they're not slaves, but they were enslaved, correction, they thought about it and they made their move. But they don't push teaching those things because they don't want the revolutionary spirit to come up inside of you. They want to keep that killed. They want to keep you watching the booty shake. They want to keep you emasculated. They want to keep you wearing pink and the rainbow and everything else and materialistic and all these things that add up to nothing. At the end of the day, we don't advance with each generation. That's where they want to keep us. See? We're going to talk about that too. Build black media that tells our truth. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. Right now, most of what we consume is designed to confuse us, divide us, or glorify our lower selves. We need platforms, podcasts, blogs, networks, and news sources that speak from our perspective, with our agenda. We must tell our own stories and define our own heroes. Media is not entertainment. It's psychological warfare. If we don't own it, it owns us. This is why you'll catch hell on someone else's platform owned by others, and when you speak truth about your life, about your circumstances, and your perspective on the world, they got a problem with it, so they can control the numbers. They can make sure certain things don't get out, but you must be relentless, right? Until we have our own. YouTube is not our own. Facebook is not our own. Twitter/X is not our own. Instagram is not our own. They may let some things get through, but for every one thing they let through as truth for you to see, there might be 50 other things that distract you and keep you on a low carnal level of indulgence, right? And they can control the algorithm where it never gets seen at all. And they will still say, oh, you had 100,000 hits on this particular piece of content, but they only let 20 people see it. I know a lot about it. I've been at war with these social media platforms, all the way down to them having the government look after me. Department of Defense. How do they know my name? That's a long story. But I know what time it is. When you speak certain things and attract people a certain way and put certain things out there, they'll treat you like a terrorist. But they'll want to see you that way and paint you that way. When you're not calling for any violence, only in self-defense. But when you speak things that are diametrically opposed to what they condone to control us and keep us medicated, not actually medicated, but yeah, that too, pushing the drugs, but to have us dazed out, zoned into the phone and just looking at all kind of stuff, and we don't get anything done for the day. Let me tell you something. Proper media would inspire us, keep us on our toes, and have us working hard, because we would move with a unified mind if we had a proper set of media, not something somebody else owns. I know people now, they've been disabled, disarmed all day long. They're just scrolling all day long, sending links out. 300, 400, 500, get up in the morning, grab the phone. What did you do today? Oh, I rested. No, you resting every day? You ain't doing nothing with your life. You get older, you get retired, you're supposed to now really be a conqueror. This is why I want to bite down on my content and spread it to places where other people can't stop it. What they're going to do, if you go out in the street with a bullhorn and attract a crowd to speak certain things, are they going to shadow ban that too? No, they can't. But you have to have a relentless spirit and reach out to those who are like-minded, who, with a revolutionary mind, can make waves, because everybody is not going to follow you. Everybody's not going to even wish you well, because you show them up for what they're not doing. And there's a lot of ego out here in cyberspace, in the social media world. A lot of ego with black people who are not sincere about the revolutionary things that they talk about. They don't live it. They talk it. They do not live it. But it's not my job to sit here and talk about them. I have to do the part that I have to do while I'm still here. And that's really what it counts. Reinforce discipline and accountability. You can't build a nation on chaos. Freedom without discipline is anarchy. We have to return to standards, moral standards, cultural standards, work standards. Too many of us want the rewards of greatness without the sacrifice. Discipline is the bridge between vision and victory. If we don't demand excellence from ourselves and each other, mediocrity becomes our culture. Accountability is not hate. It's love with structure. But isn't that something? Discipline. There's so many of us that talk a good talk and have no personal discipline in our life. I had a fool come to me and tell me as soon as I got here to Ghana, the first day, oh, you know you must stop what you're doing. You're not in America anymore. You must live your best life. Drinking is living my best life. Smoking, weed, destroying my brain, keeping oxygen out of it is living my best life. Walking around eating bad food, looking pregnant is living my best life? I don't think so, buddy. I came out here to do even more. Again, I always refer to boxing. You don't stand straight up in front of somebody to throw the punch. Sometimes you got to get down and throw the punch from a certain angle, a different angle. Just because I'm here, does my work stop? Or what I have to do? No. I'm just at a safe distance where certain blows can't be landed on me. And yes, they still could, because you got a lot of turncoats out here too. This is why I move in silence. I am a ghost. You'll see Bigfoot, you'll see Sasquatch more than you'll see me half the time. But I know where to go. I know how to relax. I know how to get around. I know how to be invisible, right? And like I said on the show earlier, I'm a people person, but people kind of messed it up. So I'm very selective in who I have around me. You have to be about something. You have to be doing something. If you live a life of only spreading gossip, tearing other people down, which is much work has been put in to tear me down from people who look like me, I'm still here. I'm still doing what I do. And you're mad because you didn't succeed. We're going to talk about that in a little while. I got some more notes to talk about. I do this all day long. If I'm in the supermarket, I'm in transit, I'm jotting things down that I want to talk about. So I want to make sure I get all of these points in, because lots of times I freestyle stuff and it's like, man, I forgot that point. I should have included that, but it's too late. So we're going to do it this way now. Develop strong local networks. Don't wait for national movements. Power starts local, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood. We must form community networks, self-defense patrols, mentorship programs, trade circles, food co-ops, and emergency response teams. Every neighborhood should have its own council of elders and organizers. You can't fix the world until you fix your street. Local action is the root of global power. Start from where you are. It doesn't have to be 1,000 people at first. It could be a little strip of a street where you assign different tasks, the security, the patrol, the elders that are there that have so much knowledge and it's going to waste because we don't pay them any mind. We can avoid misjudgments and mistakes if we utilize them. We have so much rich resources in our community, but we fail because we try to start it too big. I don't know whether it's ego or we think the bigger it is at first, the more it can handle, the more it can be effective. No, it doesn't start like that. I know, what is it? Colonial Drive off of Kirkman Road. There's in Orlando, Florida, there's a set of Chinese shops, a little strip mall, a Chinese supermarket, Chinese tax preparer, Chinese lawyer, Chinese everything, right? Chinese. They even have a bus company. I think they have like 2 buses to go different places in Florida. And you ought to see the Chinese that are riding that bus. They're supporting that bus. I've seen license plates because in Florida and other states, you can have the license plate just say Florida, or you can have it say your county, right? So in going there, and I'm nosy, want to see what's going on what we should be doing and emulating people, I'm looking in the parking lot and I'm seeing people coming from faraway places in Florida, because Florida's pretty big, even other states, just to support their own and come there. Do we do that? And even still, it may be slightly more of a price they have to pay to keep that Chinese business afloat, but it's their duty to do so. They have a feeling about it. I'll drive and burn more gas. I'll spend a little more money for the same products because this is ours and we have to build this. Do we think that way? I ain't giving that Negro all that money because it costs too much. I'm going to go to Walmart. You think Walmart is going to pay you or pay your daughter or your son who works there? Or your retired father or mother who works there because they're nice people? It's about the bottom line. They don't care about you. Why should you care about them? Form your own networks, your local networks. Buy in bulk. Who doesn't buy toilet paper? Even if it's just that. Go to the toilet paper company that the supermarket chain goes to, go to them. And now you can use big numbers. Let's all get together and buy a month or 2 worth of toilet paper. And let's have 500 households go there and step to them. You're undercutting Walmart. You're undercutting Target, right? But do we think this way? Why do I spend all that money for toilet paper? But you're going to pay a fortune just buying a little bit at a time as you need. Our thinking, y'all. But of course, somebody shaking their backside, you're going to see more hits on that video. Because really a lot of us don't want to hear this talk. We want escapism. We want carnality. We want the lower desires. Until we get hit hard by a society that doesn't care for us. Create a culture of saving and investing. We have mastered consumption, but failed at wealth creation. Every dollar we earn must have a mission. Teach children early about compound interest, credit, and group economics. Build credit unions, investment clubs, and cooperative funds. Stop competing with each other through materialism. Start collaborating to build wealth. Generational wealth doesn't happen by accident. It happens through strategy and sacrifice. And again, stop being influenced to always have to buy the new outfit, the latest hairstyle, the latest jewelry that keeps you in a spot. Because what are you getting out of it after the hairstyle flops, after the clothes get old, after the jewelry depreciates? What do you have? You're back at square one. You see? Spiritual grounding beyond religion. We don't need more religion. We need more alignment with divine truth. Spirituality must lead us toward balance, discipline, and purpose. Whatever faith you follow, it must strengthen your morality, not divide you from your people. A people disconnected from their spiritual essence are easily manipulated. Spiritual grounding gives clarity and resilience. It's how we stay rooted while facing storms. See? Physical health equals political strength. You can't fight for freedom while sick, overweight, and medicated. Our health has been attacked through food, medicine, and stress. We must make health a revolutionary act. Eat clean, fast regularly, exercise, detox, and learn holistic healing. A strong people can't be conquered easily. Treat your body as sacred ground. Every rep, every meal, every walk is a declaration that you plan to live long enough to see freedom. Many of us talk freedom. Many of us talk revolution. Are we going to go hit that pork? Don't take care of our health. Consuming types of food that will just bring us down. Right? And I heard, an interesting point today. I'm always researching and trying to absorb worthwhile things because my conversation would suffer if I put nothing in my head of note and truth. Well, I heard that the fast food industry and junk food is condoned, of course, by the government and the big corporations. And this is why they allow people who do have food stamps to purchase the worst of the worst. Because ultimately, they're giving up the food stamp funds to feed you. But if you make the wrong choices, you won't be around too long. Yeah, you'll be around for a couple of decades. When it comes time for you to get to that space of really, really understanding what's happening in the world, you're rendered useless. They don't want you to have a long life. It's just the same way when you have a company or a government that pays you a retirement check for the rest of your life. Do you think they want you to live a long life where they have to keep paying you out? No. That's why I intend to be a nightmare to those who pay me in retirement. I'm only just beginning. I want to live a long life and have the leeway and the space and the wiggle room to do more. I did a lot while I was working. I'm going to do more in retirement. And in actuality, I can't say retirement because I'm never retiring. I'm just focusing on the things that I want to do and need to do from the heart and enjoy life at this point. And that's the victory. And that's where they don't want to see us. to be effective for our people, our community, our society, for our children, and to still have our health and be strong, to garner that wisdom that comes over time, and for you to have a sharp mind and be healthy, to be able to still be a warrior and execute into your 50s, into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. 100 years old should be easy for us. We're fighting things in the atmosphere. We're fighting things in the water. We understand that. We're fighting a lot of things that keep our numbers low. But if we make an effort to change that, what a nightmare we can be to the enemy without even lifting a finger, right? Build strategic alliances with other black nations, right? We must think beyond borders. The American African community has cultural influence, while Africa holds natural resources and population power. When we connect strategically, trade, technology, education, and agriculture, we create unstoppable synergy. The diaspora must become one global black economy. Divide and conquer has worked for centuries. Now it's time to unite and construct. And this is the very thing of that intercepted government document called Memorandum 46 speaks about, how they can keep black folks in America disconnected from black folks in Africa. And so the Memorandum 46 agenda is being worked on through these people who call themselves FBA and ADOS and all this crazy stuff, going against Africans, going against folks in the Caribbean, going against each other, splitting us up. And we don't see it. We fall right into it. The comment sections are full of people rolling around in the dirt, fighting against each other when we should be unifying. People make videos about you. Oh, you ran. You ain't really. We'll see. He think he got it made. Yeah, brother. I made my decision, but you know what? I'm here in Ghana. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about black folks globally, but I'm still talking about this situation in the United States where I was born and raised. I now have Ghanaian citizenship. Yes, I do. I'm a citizen of Ghana, but I'm also a citizen of the United States. And I'm still going to talk about the issues that are there. There are issues here. There's a lot of things I don't know about here. There's a lot of things here that I'm on the sidelines. I'm new, even though I've been here straight for 5 years and never left. And don't really, certain places I'm not looking to come back to. Really, they say never, but whew, when you upgrade, you never want to go back down, put it that way. Train in modern technology and artificial intelligence. The future is digital. Those who control AI, robotics, and data will control the world. We cannot afford to be left behind. Teach our youth coding, cybersecurity, drone operation, renewable energy, and digital finance. Let's build black-owned tech companies that solve problems for our people so we don't have to go to anyone else. Innovation is our new revolution. If we don't master technology, we'll be ruled by it. I'm quite sure you see enough of the videos out here speaking about this, and it's true. And it's not something 10 or 20 years from now. It's breathing down our back and in effect as we speak. Protect our leaders and thinkers. We've lost too many great voices because we left them exposed. The system fears organized black leadership, and it will always seek to destroy it. We need protection units, legal defense funds, and digital security for those who speak truth to power. Protect our builders, thinkers, and organizers, not your entertainers and clowns. Leadership protection is community insurance. No matter what, there's always going to be someone who rises up amongst the people, not just one person, but different people from different angles to speak truth to power. The way I look at it, when you have a poison system, Meaning you've been eating junk food and bad stuff and you start to get these pimples. Those pimples rise up out of the body to let you know that you're not eating good. Just like the revolutionary leaders, or if they don't call themselves leaders, those who influence. See, on social media, it's so easy to get a few followers and say, yes, I'm an influencer. But what are you influencing? What's coming out of it? Is it just a need for your ego to be heard speaking and posture when you're living so different than what you present to the world? You'd be surprised how some of these so-called influencers are living. I know this personally. It's not my job to blow people up. They're duping you and fooling you as they put their latest manifestation of a costume on and talk a certain way, right? And we get attached to them because it sounds good. I've been living my life and doing what I do for a long time, even long before the internet. There's no hiding anything here. I am who I am, right? When Mike Tyson used to come down to the ring with the black boxing shoes on, no socks, black shorts, and a towel that he pulls off, bare bones, nothing fancy, no fancy tassels, nothing. No effects, no fluff. You know what I mean? Just bear what it is and deal with it. And come raw, bold, raw, and uncut. That's why I use those words when I put stuff up on my site, because that's how I like to do it. Bold, raw, and uncut. I ain't dressing it up. I don't care about feelings that I hurt. If I hurt feelings, maybe I need to hurt the feelings, but I don't go after anybody, right? Oh, that nigga talk too much. He think he all that. I try to self-correct myself every single day. I am not perfect. I have flaws. And there are things that I need to do for myself. That's what it is. Let me see how much time I have on this card. And yes, we are all good. We're all good. We're all good. I didn't know I was even talking that long. What we have to do, end the culture of celebrity worship. We can't confuse fame with leadership. Too often we follow entertainers and influencers who have no commitment to the people because they're pawns. Our heroes should be the ones who build schools, feed the hungry, and organize communities. We need to raise the value of integrity above visibility. The goal isn't to be known, it's to be effective. Stop worshiping distractions. Start honoring discipline. Because these entertainers are controlled by people. They can't give money to a black cause. Don't you know that? They can't speak out on some injustice. They're controlled. They're there to lure your mind the other way, to be blinded. So why are we worshiping them? The enemy doesn't mind you worshiping them because it's going to keep you distracted from what you really need to do in your community. Right? But most of us can't see it because we want to be famous too. We want to be known too. We want to have money too. That's why so many of you sell your souls. You do anything to get a taste of that fame. And when you get it, you realize you made a big mistake. Deal with internal sabotage and jealousy. Oh my God. I should have saved that one for last. No empire can be destroyed from the outside unless it's weak within. Our greatest weakness has always been envy, division, and betrayal. We must confront that energy head on, call out disloyalty, correct our own, love your brother enough to check him when he's off cold. Unity isn't about smiles, it's about order. We either learn to self-police or we'll continue being policed by others. Envy, division, and betrayal. It's something that always rears its ugly head after a while. It tears us up from within. But you call it out. But when it's in your midst, you separate from it. You separate from it. Because that kind of energy, no matter how much the person apologized when they've been caught, running their mouth about you all over town in a negative way, trying to smear your character, let them go on. Don't get mad. Be glad that they showed their hand. Don't argue with them. Just know who they are. And that's the biggest pain for them when you know, or they know, that you know who they are. and that they can never get close to you again. Now they're exposed. They'll continue to smear you because they want to see you look bad. But you keep doing what you're doing. And don't get caught up in any type of revenge toward these people, because they are their own karma, right? They feel the weight of knowing who they are. And for you to reject that energy and to keep on rising and to keep on manifesting what you are put on this earth to do, it pisses them off because they can't get in anymore. Protect yourself against these types, because they will destroy not only you, but any kind of organized effort, because lots of times they want to beat you. Lots of times they don't like how wonderfully made you are, even though you don't move in an ego-centered way. They have no light. They want your light. They want your natural charisma. They want all of that stuff. How dare you have that? They don't want you to have that. This is why, like I say, social media is infested with narcissists and egomaniacs and people who just love to hear themselves talk and they just want attention. Selfies, look at me, me. Forget that, do the work. This is one end of things. This is one facet to be able to do the work, right? Other than that, it's a waste of time. Unless you're getting something done effectively to reach the minds of your people, right? Build intergenerational mentorship. Our elders carry wisdom, and our youth carry energy. When those two forces unite, progress is inevitable. Elders must teach without ego. Youth must listen without arrogance. Create apprenticeship programs, oral history projects, and family storytelling traditions. The transfer of knowledge must become sacred again. This is how cultures survive, through connection between generations. And the last one, plan 50 to 100 years ahead. We've been trained to think short term, to chase immediate pleasure and temporary gain. Meanwhile, other groups plan centuries ahead. We must build a long-term vision. Schools, industries, land, infrastructure, media, and governance that will outlive us. Think beyond your lifetime. Every decision today must move our great-grandchildren closer to freedom. Legacy is the true measure of leadership. Most of us can't think past this weekend. Boy, I can't wait for the weekend to come, man. I'm a party hard, man. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get effed up. You get a paycheck and blow it on foolishness. What effect will your life have to those who are here after you're gone? Can you create a righteous momentum that when you physically are not here, the principles you live by, what you taught, what you influenced and what you showed people through your example, will that live on? Forget the name being remembered, but what energy that you put forward will move on beyond you, because your name eventually will be forgotten. I don't care if they put up statues and monuments, they're eventually going to crumble and get knocked down. There'll be some bird sitting up on your statue taking a crap on your shoulder, not even knowing who you are. But what you instill, the energy, the principles, the discipline, that's something that can be carried on beyond. Lots of times when we die, and most times before we die, we're relegated to a nondescript role. Many are not interested in our old stuff, telling our old stories from back in the day that have no meaning. Nothing relative to the present day as a solution. When you see an elder, when you see some OG, they should have something to give to you to enlighten you to say, whoa, I never thought about it that way, because you don't have the time spent on the earth to understand it. Not meaning that you can't be younger and have wisdom, because a lot of my elders in practice are younger. You can be an elder to me at 21 years old because you mastered a certain area of life and see things in a way I couldn't see it. So we need to bring this energy together. But many of us don't. I don't need to listen to that old nigga, the old stuff. Man, that nigga almost dead. You see what I mean? Disconnect. No respect. We need to bring that back. There's so much more that I could talk about. All day long, even tomorrow, I'll be jotting down my notes on things and when they get off. There's a sense of urgency inside of me that I've never known even before. YouTube and other social media platforms have taken down years of work, but that's just the warm-up. Now I know how to go in. That was my amateur career. Now I'm professional. Know all the tricks. And coming hard now. This is the real deal. We need to be on our mission. We need to know what our mission is, our individual missions, and how it fits in to the whole overall. Too many of us are just doing our own little thing. But we have to think, how is what I'm doing, how is it affecting in a positive way to wake people up, to motivate them, to show them something better, to show them a more efficient way of living. There's so many gaps and holes and unmanned posts that we have to man, meaning woman too, for the generations that come behind us and learning from those who came before us. We just leave our elders and olders just to die. And they have so much value. Other cultures value their elders. The ones who can settle disputes and speak righteously on what is right and wrong because of their track record and how long they've learned all these decades. I love to sit down with people who are over 80, 90, 100. Instead of shaking our asses and showing our women that way, we should get that phone. We all have a camera in the phone. YouTube is free. Go and sit down for an hour or two with somebody in your neighborhood who may be near that time of leaving and extract some knowledge from them. Let them tell you about the old neighborhood. It doesn't just have to be overall stuff. And when there used to be a farm over here and what happened there and how it used to be. Bring us up or bring us back so we know how far we came. Connectedness. But we're being disconnected as a community worldwide and globally, and we don't even realize it. Do you get upset or wonder why the refrigerator is not keeping things cool and you're looking down and you see the plug not plugged in the wall? It's not plugged in the wall, so you're not going to get a current to make that thing run and that compressor run. So that's why the refrigerator's not working. Why do many of our young kids not want to hear what we have to say? And they're so arrogant and don't know. Not all of them, but too many of them. That's our force, our physical force, and they need to look toward us for directions and directives. We're disconnected. It's just like the old war movies that you would see. You know, American movies, they always make the Americans the heroes. And they have these ways of jamming the radio communications of the so-called enemy they're fighting. So if they can't communicate, if they can't stay connected, how are you going to win the war? We are at war. And we don't know it. We're distracted, disconnected. See, social media has become like that painkiller. Here you are getting teeth pulled out of your head and you can feel the tug of it. But because they shot that stuff in your mouth, you don't feel it at all. With all the junk food and porn and crazy kinky sex and alcohol and drugs and different things, we should feel the pain of what's happening to us to be able to react and have the presence of mind to be able to react. But we're so medicated away from feeling the attacks on us. Not just those of us who are shot down by police. We're shot down in so many different ways in this society worldwide. But we don't feel it because we're scrolling and filling up our mind with stuff. So we don't think beyond what is being presented That's why they have shorts now. YouTube shorts, Instagram short 1-minute things, and TikTok short. TikTok, they're telling you right there, the time is going by. If you don't like one, you scroll to the other. Right? Used to be we can read a book, a thick book, and read it. A book? Our children don't want to read books. They want to be in front of that screen. They want to pick up the phone and open their eyes and just, and your retina, your eyes, giving up everything. Our thoughts. It's intimate. Your brain is a private part, more than your private parts. Because we can look, we already know what you got. Even if you try to fake and pretend and change it around, we already know what you are. But we can't just look at you and tell what's in your mind. Right? We worry about our private parts, but we expose how shallow our minds are by the foolishness that we talk on social media for the world to see. People see you, don't even know you, but yeah, I remember him. He ain't nothing but a fool. Stuff he talks about. You talk something of relevance? Not that I always do, but I try to. Out here in Ghana, people have walked up to me in the street. Brother Lance. It's a nice feeling. But that's not what I do this for. I'm doing this a long time. Helped a lot of people, been used by a lot of people. A lot of frauds have passed through. I don't do that no more. You know, people you don't see around no more, they frauds. Busted, exposed. Let them go on. People will discuss, people and folks already know. They know, but they just keep quiet about it. It's not my job. At the end of the day, when the scorecards are tallied up in my life of what I've done righteously and good against what maybe would be considered bad or not so good, hopefully the good will outweigh the bad. That's all I want. The seeds of greatness that are put inside of you, did you manifest them? Or did you let them sit there and get stale and stagnant and not plant them somewhere so that when you're out of here, it can continue to grow? How much energy and life force that you have now will continue long after your body is gone? That's the key. On that note, I'm going to end it now, but it's never ending. Because I'm going to jump on some other content right after this. It's always going to keep coming, always keep smashing, and always keep going, always keep throwing them punches until you can't throw it anymore. Just want to say much love to you all. I'm on to the next one, Lancescurv out. Make sure to go to lancescurvx.com. Put your email in there. That's contact between the both of us that can never be disrupted or shadow banned. And it's like moving underground, rebuilding every single day. Your spirit is never to be broken. It may get challenged sometime. You may be shocked by those who you thought were in your corner who come against you, but after you get knocked down, you regroup and you get up. And you don't have to worry about those issues no more. Your mission is even clearer and you can move lighter. Never be broken. I know it's easy to say, but you can do it. Never be discouraged, no matter how it looks. Every so-called problem, which I call a challenge, has a solution. Just get methodical, deal with one at a time, and you'll be all right. And that's what I have to say. Anyway, salute to my brothers. Much love to my sisters. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it motivated you. Share it. And let's move on to the next one, because we have so much we have to talk about. Much love to you all. Lancescurv out. Peace.